to the Wednesday Board Game Live. Hey everybody, I'm Seppy. This is Bert from Bert's Tabletop Games. And today we're going to discuss game design. Specifically, the month-long topic is from motivation to method. Because Bert, often as I do when the month ends, I go, hey, I need a new topic. Who's interested in talking about something? And Bert stepped up. Thank you for stepping up, amazing Bert. And it's like, hey, I want to talk about the inspiration in and around games and how to design around theme. And I'm like, I love that topic. Let's do it. And so that's how this month's topic evolved. Did I get it right, Bert?
Yeah, I think so. I volunteered as tribute, and here we are.
So are you the kind who shoots bows or the kinds who paints themselves like bark?
I'm probably the bark kind of guy.
So am I, honestly. I'm like, oh, please don't make me front and center. I'm gonna make it like a leaf and get out of here. So, all right, Bert, give us a little introduction about you, your channel, these kinds of stuff.
Sure. So I do reviews, previews, interviews, that kind of stuff, and I do it mostly written. So Bert.games is where I live, and I do TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff too. And I design board games occasionally. Yet to publish it, but we'll get there.
Yeah. That's how you caught my attention. Different people like to experience data and information or demos different ways, and you are primarily a written reviewer. I know a lot of review channels, and some do it, some don't, some do it well. Like Board Game Gumbo is one that does like heavy written reviews first, and then there's some strictly like people get to enjoy what they want and how they want to do it. And there is a long-standing history for board gamers and the written word from like Board Game Geek is almost entirely about nerds talking about how they feel about things in their collection or things they got to try.
Yeah, exactly. What's the first thing you do when you buy a board game? You read the rule book. Some nerds like to read. So I'm fully confident in my media that I chose.
Oh, that's great. My first job when I buy a game is figure out if there's anybody there to teach me the game.
That's fair too.
I bought this. Can anybody teach it? Does anybody know how to play this? Yeah, so that is my version of that. All right, so talk a little bit about yourself. Tell me like how you got started, how long the history of your channel is, like what made you decide that written format was your deal? Like obviously you're good at it, and you've been doing it like tell me about your posting format and frequency, these kinds of things.
So I've been doing it for 5 years. So it was my pandemic project. I started slightly before the pandemic started. Our daughter was born in November 2019. So I started this in January that year. And I was just going to talk about how, a group of my friends, we get together to play games, write, because I wanted to get into writing more, and I was having very, let's say, infrequent sleeping times. So like, I'd be up all night.
Yes.
I could.
Of course, our joint time in the dark ages, I know a lot of gamers said I needed something to help me connect with something creatively or with other nerds while I am a slave to an infant.
Exactly.
Like infant schedule is a very serious thing. Like they're going to do what they want to do. You push them out of their previous living conditions and evicted them. And now they're like going to get their revenge.
Yeah. And now we're on number 2. So we're 2 months into that. So
oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So the channel is fun. I've been doing it for 5 years. I do, started off writing about the games, I challenged myself that year. It was like, I'm going to play through all the board games that I have before I buy a new one. I was like, I'm not
whoa,
going
a
to buy any
shelf of
more.
opportunity.
Clear the
Playing
shelf
chicken
out.
with your shelf of opportunity. And did you win? Or came close?
No, that blew up with the pandemic. Like there was nothing getting to the table. Like I played as much as I could single player, but like
Okay.
there was even a point in time where we were playing the Batman miniatures game where my buddy has the same copy, so he had his laptop facing his board, and I had my laptop facing my board, and we were moving the miniatures the same way. So
that is amazing.
Very ridiculous.
Necessity is the mother of invention. I need to get my nerd on. Please tell me what I could do. I want to play this game. You're like, yeah, absolutely.
And so, it morphed into like people asking me, "Oh, could you talk about my game? Like, can I send you a game and you talk about it?" Like, oh yeah, that's an interesting angle. And then before I knew it, like the steamrolled into what I'm doing now, where I try to post weekly, if not sometimes twice a week. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
All right, so we had some people sounding in. Hello to David. I saw Nick. Pat's here. He says, like the setup that you did for playing Batman, that's just what Spell Table does. Is Spell Table, Pat, that thing you could see at Gen Con, that table that was like needed a timeout that was out in that hall? But okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, any activity that you do on the regular, be it weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is something that you will improve at. And game design is also that way, which is today's topic. But how would you say your writing or your relationship with games has evolved in these 5 years and, 300 some posts?
Yeah, so I'm an IT guy by day, so I do a lot of technical writing. So
oh, nice.
I that naturally flows into like rule book writing. So the first thing I do is get my thoughts out on paper, and then I write the rules.
Oh, nice.
And so I've had a few designs that I've worked on here and there, and they've evolved slowly. And I brought a game to game night that I hosted at a brewery last week, and I thought of it at Gen Con, had it prototyped ready to go last week. We played through it and it functionally worked. There was just like a lot of excitement, and one of the people I was playing with actually has been sending me pictures for the last week of like ideas of like how the cards could look for the game and whatnot. He's really stoked about it.
That's amazing. Like the number one thing that I would tell people if they're interested in game design is fail faster. That's the classic colloquialism. Like getting things to the table and practicing getting them to the table as quickly as possible is the skill that will make you better faster so that you can actually get done the game that you want. Because a game isn't a house. It's not a thing that you build and then you move on to the next thing. A game is a living, breathing object that evolves with the people who play it, with your abilities as a game designer, and your ambitions for it can also change a lot after you see how people interact with it. So,
and there's a lot of branching inspiration in there. Like one thing leads to another that leads to two more things. And
yes, you can have an idea that, yeah, absolutely. Like you can have a completely amazing idea that's something that you love, and you're like, you have to cut it from a design that you have. Well, there's no reason that perfectly amazing idea can't go spawn its own game. So, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so. Everybody, welcome to Wednesday Board Game Live. I'm Seppy. This is Bert from Bert's Tabletop Games, and today we're talking about game design. So Bert was sharing about a prototype that he had just got inspired from, which is today's topic, taking things from inspiration to the table. Like, tell me about your process from, okay, I thought about this at Gen Con to I'm going to take this to an event. Which of the events did you take him to? Again, you had said?
So I took it to an event I host. It's a board game night at a brewery. So
oh, nice.
Willing victims there. So basically, I drove to Gen Con, so I had like 3 hours in the car to think about nothing and everything all at once.
Nice.
Yeah, inspiration struck randomly because I think I was thinking about like arcs a little bit, and I was thinking about like Gen Con in general and how much like I like to go to Gen Con and play like a big miniatures game because like I'm not going to sit at home. Like I am not going to paint miniatures. I have many of them that are not painted, and that's that. And so my thought was, let's have a trick taking game since trick taking is all the rage right now. It's a trick taking miniatures game that you can play in 20 minutes. So you can play a card game
is very
and a miniatures
ambitious.
game. Yeah. It worked. So it's fun.
That is really, really cool. All right. So the Fight in the Box community started a board gamers in and amongst miniature gamers community. So particularly like way back in 2008, the War Machine community. So what would you say is quintessential to what makes a miniatures game function or challenging or interesting? Like as a game designer, like what would you say is inherent to a miniatures game that makes it different from a board game or not necessarily chess or anything else like other strategy games with pieces?
Yeah, so I think a miniatures game is, if you think about it, like it's more free form. You're getting to choose what you do with your piece. Like, you're like I'm going to turn and move this way, and then do an action or whatever. And not necessarily in a lot of board games are you free to move about wherever you want. It's kind of a lot of
all right. Structure. So let me see if I got this right. So in a miniatures game, you need unlimited movement, a directional movement, up to a certain distance on the two-dimensional plane. That is guaranteed. Like if I'm on the table, I should be able to go in any of the directions around my character as much as their prescribed movement, as long as I don't break something. Like instead of a board game where you can only move to pre-designated spaces, there's infinite spaces between spaces in a miniatures game. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and what else you think would you say is essential for a miniatures game? Because I love that as a definition. I think that's great.
Yeah. So for a miniature game, obviously you need to have some miniatures that people want to paint and that they'll never get to. So that's important. And then
because you can have board games with miniatures in them, but I still think miniatures gamers would not consider them a miniatures game, right?
Exactly. Like that Batman game I was talking about. It's a board game, right? Like you're moving in squares, but it's fun. It's got miniatures that you can paint, so it meets one of the requirements, not both.
Right. Is Unmatched, that's a board combat game rather than a miniatures game?
Yeah, you're just using the miniature to go around to predetermined spots. But
predetermined. So first of all, to make it a miniatures game, you need to be able to travel in any direction and make those kinds of decisions. All right.
Right.
So what is another category for what makes a miniatures game?
Like a slew of things that you can do. I think like move, shoot, reposition. Like a lot of historical miniatures games, you can like reposition like how your troops in each block are on.
Ooh.
Are we skirmish or are we compact or what are we doing?
I like that. Like a miniatures game inherently needs to have freedom of deployment. Mm-hmm. Freedom of deployment is very interesting, and more importantly, it usually has the characteristic of you decide what you're bringing to the game. Like army construction, list construction, all of those things tend to be inherent to a miniatures game. Like, like it's the self-expression of what you're playing is not only about how you paint it, but what you put together and paint.
Yeah, exactly. Like how you build your army or whatnot, and like what armies you're choosing to even play with, right?
Yeah.
Like a miniatures game, like take a Warhammer or something like that. You could field a dozen different armies, and within those dozen different armies, you can field them infinite different ways. So
yeah,
that's really
that's
cool.
Great. Those are three essential qualities for what makes a miniatures game. Like I said, freedom of movement, freedom of deployment, i.e. setup, freedom of setup to use a more general term, and then freedom of like what pieces you're are used. Like, not unlimited freedom, but you get to make your own choices on how that part of the game goes. It is not prescribed to you. Right. Anything else?
No, I think that's a pretty good working definition of like miniatures games. Like, it's kind of like the old you know it when you see it kind of thing.
We had somebody sound the two most important things: originality and answering the question why. Yes, I like that. The decisions that you're making and the why of those decisions, being able to answer them inside your miniatures game is an interesting is a way to vector in on that I don't know if I would pick. I'm including in this army these goblins because I need flankers. Like, I am including this because I just want to play shooties. I want to do
I'm including this because I like the way I painted this one.
Yeah, I loved this miniature. I'm doing this whole thing. Like, freedom to express yourself and answer that question is maybe what James is saying. That's pretty great. Alrighty then. So, why trick taking? Are you saying this is like the crew, or are you saying this is like you're just like, hey, if I was going to get a game together that was hitting all the trends that I have never seen that I would want to see, you're like that, or I'm going to bring these two hybrid things together that no one has ever thought of before.
Yeah, it was more like, I have two things. How do I smash it together? And it was kind of, was like a Galaxy Trucker is kind of a little bit of inspiration from that, where you're like building your like spaceship. And so like in my game, you play trick, you win the trick. So you got 4 people playing, you get 4 cards from the trick, and then you draft it around. It's you each get 1 card out of that trick, and 4 suits are 4 different parts of the spaceship. So you lay it down in front of you, and then eventually you get 4 parts of the spaceship, and you have a complete spaceship sitting in front of you. And
nice.
Then you take it and its stats, and that transfers onto the board.
The
miniatures
cool.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you bash it out in 20 minutes. That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can. It's very restricted on the miniature side. Like, this space is small, but like, the point of it is like more of a Thunderdome kind of situation.
All right. So one of the interesting things that James brought up was, and I think anybody who's aspiring to do design, hey, Artisan Games, how are you? It's Ryan. Is when you design a game, understanding who that game or that project is for. You can design a game, and it could be an amazing design experience, but it is never meant to be published. You can make, I have designed games a couple of times for people's birthdays. It is their birthday game. It is a present/event that we are doing and why it works. It's over the whatnot. You can design games to teach you more about design. You can design games to test yourself about like limitations and to see whether you like it. And then, of course, you can design games educationally. I love that. My favorite one of these games that I think everybody should play at least once is the cost. I talk about this. Bert, have you played The Cost?
No. I've heard of it, though. Yeah.
All right. So are you familiar with it, or do you want me to give the spiel?
You can give the spiel. Refresh me on that one.
All right. So The Cost is a Euro economic game about asbestos mining. And the winner of the game is the person who, in classic Euro fashion, makes the most money. And it goes through the financial choices and the human ramifications for those choices in what was mid 20th century asbestos mining. And I think in Central Europe, like, the choices of the game are awful, and if you win, you feel bad.
Like, I made money, but a lot of destruction.
I won, but now I learned at what cost my victory came at. Like, Asphylia melanoma, or however you pronounce that. I'm butchering that, but it's a real thing. And like buying safety equipment versus like getting new workers is a real choice you make in that game.
I mean, it's a choice.
It is a choice. So, but educational, I can't believe that game ever got published. Thank you, James. So one of my favorite, like, educational or sort of interactive was the Polish Cold War Museum in Warsaw made a game about standing in line. And I ran into this game at the same time because I published the exact same year my own game about standing in line.
It's a popular thing.
Everyone's doing it. Popular thing. And I like a weirdly Polish aesthetic. The standing in line game, mine, of course, is End of the Line, post-apocalyptic family survival. Theirs was like Cold War, like black market economics. And so that's another reason you can play a game. But you can also then make games so that you can play them, or make games so that you can publish them. Yeah, and people should have that idea, even if they're willing to change it later, like what idea they're having with it, because it will give them the kind of focus to drive to their next goal for that project without being fettered by things that are not necessary for that evolution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think you're nailing it. Like, sometimes game design can just be like journaling. Like, I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it, and as I'm doing it, I'm learning something about how things work, and then I can use that for its own game, or it can spawn out into something else later.
Yeah, you can design games to teach you about publishing, or as an industry, that is always its thing. Last month, in the board game design tip for the day, we talked about game design as an occupation. I've been doing this full time since 2012, and plus other side gigs, but this full time since 2012. And this month's topic is giving a great demo. So, as somebody who is very good or very practiced in writing about games, or writes in an instructional manner, how does that influence how you go about getting a demo ready or getting a prototype ready?
Well, so getting the prototype ready is fairly easy. Like, I wouldn't waste your time like making it pretty. Just throw hexes on a table, or the prototype I did last week, I just used a regular deck of cards, and I had a spreadsheet. Said Ace of Hearts is this, Two of Clubs is that. It made the game a little slower because we're all looking at the spreadsheet constantly, but I didn't have to print out any cards or anything. I just ideas out there.
Yeah. It's been a while since I did that. It's been a long time since I did that. But that's like extremely old school. Like, once upon a time, everything you did, you had to check a one page in a big to determine what exactly happened. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is more of like a proof of concept kind of situation. Like, is this going to work?
No, I like it.
Do I spend more time on this or not?
and what would have made it? What makes it pass that heuristic for you? And that's a very important one. What does it have to do for you to make it worth you spending more time on?
So the first game I designed, I playtested with people, and all I got were glazed over like looks at the end of it. And this time,
you mean that's not what's supposed to happen? That's what happens to me every time, Bert.
I mean, it was inspired by my work in IT, so I get it.
Yeah.
Nobody's passionate about IT infrastructure, so. But this time, like, I got text afterwards from people who played it, and then somebody who's passionate enough about it that they're drawing pictures at night. Like that night when I got home, he drew pictures sent it to me. I'm like, you're really excited about this. Maybe this is something. And so tinker with it a little more and see what happens. James speaking my language.
You guys are talking nerdy to each other. All right, so I think if you make something and it inspires others, that of course hopefully creates a positive feedback loop that makes you very excited to continue. Like that is the dream. Like that without solicitation, somebody finds it in themselves to want to like, comment, share, create in and around your stuff, right? And
exactly.
Like that's really, really, really good. That is too ambitious. Like if you make that your bar, like
that doesn't happen all the time.
Like if that's your bar, like I don't know how often that happens.
Yeah, not so much every time, but when it does happen, it's great.
I think the third play test for Squirrel or Die, like Squirrel or Die is really weird. Like it took 3 weeks from concept to something sellable. And after the initial test of like they wanted the name change and the theme change, and then I whatever it is, people just looked at me and said, "This is really good." I don't think I change anything. And then I showed them like how it was going to be made, and like, can I buy one? And I'm like, in a couple of days, and then that ended up happening. So, but that is really weird. Like, Conquest Princess took 9 years, Bert. And Squirrel or Die took 3 weeks. Well, one game takes 8 minutes to play, and one game takes like 16 minutes to set up.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
No, it takes 8 minutes to set up. But seriously. But, so that's very, very exciting. Like using the time that you have, especially time alone, driving, doing whatever it is, especially if you're like commuting in some place like the Detroit Metro, where the average commute one way is like 55 minutes. Like dedicating that time to, what's that?
I said, that's a nice commute. I want that one.
I'm in the car 2 hours a day commute.
I'm over that.
Whoa! Oh my God!
Yeah.
What area of the country are you in?
Chicago.
Okay. Oh, that's brutal. You only went 5 miles for that 2 hours.
30 miles, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is rough. That is rough. Yeah. You must be going across the metro at a bad time.
Yeah. I have the regular commute.
Oh boy. Yeah. The funny thing about the Detroit commute is that it is 55 minutes at an average speed of, I think the last time I checked it was over 80 miles per hour.
Oh, wow.
It is alarming. It is alarming. Like bumper to bumper traffic at high speeds is something that I did not realize that as somebody who learned to drive in Detroit, when I went to other places, everybody always accused me of tailgating. And I was like, what? No, I got plenty. I got at least a car length between me and this person. And they're like, but we're going 70 miles per hour. I'm like, yeah, there's a car length between me and this other person. Yeah, it's a little different in Minnesota. All right. So understanding that time that you have, like driving to like a convention or whatever, is something that you can dedicate to a creative activity or a regular activity like listening to audiobooks, like something that is productive and inspires you is a good way to stay sane. I love that. I love that, Bert. That's really, 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 really good. Okay,
yeah,
so.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're saying. Sorry, I'm always interrupting.
I think I was going to go back, but then I don't remember to what.
It's great. All right, so jumping all the way back. So when did you start deciding that game design was something that was going to be fun for you to do? Was it in and around the time you started your channel? Was it before that? Was it after that? Like, where is that in relationship to?
I think it was about a year after I started. And then, I was doing, the reviews and stuff by that time. And so I've been, interacting with designers and publishers. And so I joined we had a local Chicago, at the time it was virtual prototype. And it was led by Danielle Reynolds. And so at the time I had no idea how amazing her designs were. Like,
Danielle's amazing.
You want to see my game about cats? But yeah, I learned a lot from those guys, and playing their games, playing my games, and getting feedback from design types is always great. But also you got to get out there and like get the plebes and the people who are going to buy the game. Like, what do they think?
Well, there's two different things in there. All right, so number one, if you have the opportunity, you're in a big metro and you're paying with your commute, you should also see if there is a regular game design event, like people talking about designs and you interacting with the community is basically you learning lessons in an accelerated manner from people who are able to teach them to you faster than you would be able to learn by experimentation. It is literally the argument for civilization. Like, why are we better than lions? Well, we're better than lions because we are able to get together and teach each other in a way that accelerates our ideas faster.
Exactly. Like,
but then you said the flip side of it is you interacting with people who aren't designers, and that is critically important.
Yeah. And so, like, events like we have Chicago Produce Spiel coming up in 2 weeks. A week and a half now. But that's a great event because there's people of all ilk there, and you can get input from people who are just hanging out playing games all day, or some publishers there, designers there, so you get many points of view all at once, and you could rapidly come prepared to change. Adapt your game or have specific things that you want to test out. Like if you have a bigger game, like you're not going to play the whole game with everybody.
You're really good at turn of phrase, Bert. Come prepared to change is a great phrase. Like that should be the slogan for all produce deals. Like come prepared to change. Like you will change, your ideas will change, everything around you will change.
And that's important. That's an important part about the whole design process is like testing and like making sure that like your game does bring joy. Like if it's you're not bringing joy. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I mean, maybe you're just teaching someone a lesson for something, but I think for me, games are all about having fun and community and like sitting around a table with devices off and just let's chat and be involved with something that has boundaries and barriers and like a creative space, like a safe space. Like we can shoot the stuff and like stream of conscious out there, and no one's gonna be like, dude. Well, they might be like that, but it has no, like, it doesn't leave the table, right? Like the table is the table.
Like a place for a healthy competition, a place for like getting to know each other and seeing how you connect, where your connection and your mutual enjoyment is the rule of the day rather than anything else. Like, obviously, the internet had been very kind to me. Like, I was there in the birth of the internet when Al Gore was in the OR, and I was holding, and he was up in the stirrups, and I was doing the thing. But there's a constant reminder of the things that we disagree about, or the things that cause people to react. The in-person, when you interact with another person in person, the interaction is almost in the opposite direction. It's about how can we get along and how can we have fun together. Mm-hmm. And I think fundamentally that lesson is good for the soul, if I believed in one, and is a real reason that people should like go to their favorite local game store and be reminded, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole, but I'm just going to say, like, sitting around a table playing a game, interacting with people face to face fixes a lot of things too, like societally.
Right. No. Yeah. It reminds us that we agree about 95% of everything. Why we don't talk about that 95% more often is here are some of the things that I love in the 95 percentile is ice cream. The statistic is 97% of people polled think ice cream is either at least good or great.
Yeah.
And the other, like, whatever, the other 3 to 5% have some sort of dietary restriction or something else. Like, I had a car accident with a ice cream truck once, and it changed me. Like, there is those 1 in a percentile. Like, but there are a lot of other things that if we focused on the things that we agreed upon, that we could feel more connected and maybe tackle some of these other things. And I think that's what board gaming really does. It gets people to have a common experience in a joyful way that allows them to have, absolutely.
When you can even bring controversial topics to like bear on the game table and have a legitimate conversation about it. And it's not for everybody. Like,
it's not for everybody.
Like, there are games out there that like are a simulation of like slavery or whatever, and like if the game comes to the table and it's to the table because we're going to have a conversation about it, that's one thing. And if it comes to the table because we're just going to have fun playing this game, that's a whole other thing.
That's like the lesson of Gen Con 2025. Like, seriously, the controversy for that this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, it's coming up from, speaking of miniatures and speaking of topics and topics in gaming. One of the things that you got to see when I had my Floodgate hat on this year was Flintlock is coming. And Flintlock is a game set in the historical era around the French Indian War. And anything that has to do with problematic times in history is going to have elements that remind people that we are more evolved now. And the game is really good, but it's historical. Anything historical, you have to look at things from a certain lens. And the number one thing that it is the responsibility of companies to do is, are we representing the people in these games in a like anthropological, historical context, or are we looking at things from a like a weird Hollywood 1950s lens, which is really not good.
No. Yeah, exactly. Like it's on the publishers to like throw in the context of what they've made. You know, like you can make something, but it has to have context.
And it has to have buy-in before it gets to the table, and before you make that kind of game. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Wednesday Board Game Live. For you who are just checking in, I'm Seppy. This is Bert. We're talking about game design from motivation to method. And Bert got to share a story about his Gen Con inspiration, how it got him a prototype to the table, and then how he's been working through that. And then we've been talking about little tips and tricks in and around there. All right, Bert, anything that I said to you surprising so far, or things that you think we should double down on and like really hash out? Like as you were the progenitor of this topic, and I got to use the word progenitor.
I mean, wow. 50-cent word day.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to be so old to recall it a 50-cent word. Yeah. You're killing it, Bert. You're killing it right here, Bert. Right here. I love you for that.
I think going back to like design and inspiration, like, you know, there's many ways to come about a game, but I think there's two big camps. Like, you know, you start with mechanics and like how the game functions. Like, do I want to create a game that's more like X, Y, or Z, or uses card drafting and miniatures, slam it together? Or the way I'm in the camp of is mostly I do thematic. Like, I want to make a game about this theme. All right, now if I'm going to simulate like, you know, a thing with a game, right? Like, because games are mostly just simulations of things. So if I'm simulating, you know, whatever, the cat knocking Christmas ornaments out of my tree, Meowie Cat Mess, check it out, Bert Games. You know, I was inspired by the cat, you know, knocking our Christmas ornaments down. So what I went to is like, how do I turn that into something that's playable? Like, how do I simulate that? And, you know,
and you created a 6-foot tall prototype with plushies, and that is how that game got done.
Close. I created a big game map with my picture on it, holding a cat. Like a family Christmas photo with the cats, you know.
All right, so I love starting with inspiration. The two mechanics that people generally think they fall into is theme driven or mechanics driven, but the other category, of course, is component driven. Like you know, like the 17 card challenge is a classic board game design assignment and contest every year. Like, I wanted to fit in this box, or I wanted to fit under this MSRP is a real like part of the and it gets you to this other kind of stuff. But for theme driven, I generally like thinking about the natural beats, rhythm, and breaking points that would create turns or moments or decisions inside the theme. Like, so if you're playing a space adventure game, like how often do I get to blast off, or what do I need to blast off? Or if I'm doing any side of combat game, like how often am I, you know, letting off my blaster, right? Like, these kinds of things. You're like, oh, okay. For me, and a lot of everybody's different, and that's what makes it awesome. Understanding the underlying structure of how games need to be put together for A 40-minute experience is a little bit about the math, about turn lengths, like number of actions that you can do and so forth and whatnot. And then plugging in the Legos of various mechanisms to try to hit the beats, the action moments that you want to do, and the sort of emotional pitch that you want to have written into your game. Like, what is this exciting moment? What is this point of contact between the players? And
well, yeah, if you're writing a good game, you kind of want the arc of like a story. Like, I want to hit the climax of them.
Right. You don't want. Yeah. It's a problem that if 20 minutes into your game, everybody knows who's going to win, and then there's no suspense. Like, good on that person for getting ahead of the stuff, but then that game should be 20 minutes.
Yeah, that should be the end of the game. End of story.
Once the game should reward you for playing it hardest, and everybody should be, at 20 minutes, let's go again. But if at 40 minutes, it's over the whatnot. So, understanding the mechanisms that you can use, understanding the mechanisms that are popular, really gives you a window into what is the exciting moments, right? Like, okay, I like trick-taking games because I like that triumphant whatever, or I like everybody around the table having a quick something to do, right? Or I like the fact that it's a broad base, and if you grew up in the Midwest, then you don't have to explain that mechanism to people. I like its easy accessibility for this crowd of people. Yeah, these are all things when you choose your mechanisms and you fit them to your feeling for your theme, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like all about how do you trick your partner into playing a miniatures game with you.
First, you get them tired from having too many babies. Like, babies will make everybody punch drunk. Yeah, that's great. No, that's also a perfectly good motivation. So, what themes have inspired you that gave you this topic and are examples? Like, how many games did you go about this way?
So there's a game about the IT infrastructure. It on paper looks like Ticket to Ride, but it's more pick up and deliver-esque. Like, it's
okay. Yeah, I do love pick up and deliver.
You're cashing in customers in the data centers, and it's only because, like, in the United States, the IT infrastructure was built along the railroad tracks, so it's kind of inseparable. Like, early on, like, follow the same path. So that's all from my work. I do a lot of work on IT infrastructure, so that came through. And then
I was painfully aware of the spine of the internet in the 90s. So folks might not know, it started as 7 universities tying themselves to each other, most of them starting with M's, like MIT, the University of Michigan, that's where I was, the University of Minnesota, one of the Dakotas was there. I forgot which the other ones that ended up being on the spine.
I think you got U of I in there somewhere too.
Yeah, right. And so I spent a disgustingly large amount of time in the early parts of the internet playing one of the first internet games called Bolo. And Bolo is Hindi for communication. And it was a tank fighting game that you were building pillboxes and you're moving around. And, we would play people in the same lab. We'd play people across campuses, and we play people in other universities. And the lag was insane. Like playing somebody in another lab was already a BFD, let alone playing somebody in the Dakotas or playing somebody in Massachusetts. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, that was.
So my game would pick up like right after that, like during the boom of the 90s, like the late 90s.
Oh!
'Cause that's where I picked up on.
Oh, that's great. So yours is a little historical.
A little bit, yeah. It's based on that because it's a little simpler network, and like it's called Connected, and I want to use it as a more of an educational game. So I've sketched out like a few iterations of it. So like there's a game that have you ever played Whirling Witchcraft? Where you're like
No.
moving pieces from like cubes from you create a spell, and then the output of the spell you move to the next player, and then they have to take the other player's like stuff and slot it in, and you're looking to overload that.
I may have played that. Actually.
Yeah, it came out like 3 or 4 years ago. But that one inspired me to do like a quality of service. Like, this is deep into IT now. A quality of service like learning game, because that's one of my main subjects that I'm expert in at work. So, to explain quality of service, I could just bust out this game and be like, this is how it works, guys. And,
well, yeah, like I tried to explain to people why the quants want to be in the building next to the exchange. But then I have to explain quants, and then I have to explain how the market works, and then I have to explain microtransactions.
And before you get to the speed of the light, they're already tuned out.
Yeah. Eventually you get to the speed of light. Then you get to warring algorithms, and then you get to think tanks, mathematic think tanks, and then it is all spiraled out into control. And people think you're like, that can't be a thing. I'm like, that is entirely a thing. Like, what you actually think has happened in some ways is more science fiction than science fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so then I was doing one of those 17 card game.
Oh yeah, 17 card challenge games.
Yep, I was doing that for rugby. So I played rugby for 10 years. So
oh, amazing!
I created a rugby game with 17 card challenge. So 3/7 kind of game, and it tracked the field distances and everything.
Well, I mean, there's a long history of like IT people and project management people's relationship with rugby, because they both have scrums.
Hurts my soul every time. I'm like, all right, let's scrum down, guys. Let's do this. Oh, you just want to talk about stuff, okay?
Bert, you should have known that's a problem when you say, I'm going to put my hands where?
Well, I was a prop, so I was right in the middle of the scrum, and the guy next to me was
my gosh. Yeah, you understand. Then you absolutely understand. Yeah, all right. So speaking of which, are there any good rugby themed games? Like, or is rugby such an obscure, like, there could be an argument that Blood Bowl is a rugby themed game.
Yeah, it's close. I may have seen one before, but it's a theme that's not tapped into, and I don't think it's that obscure. Like it was the fastest growing sport in the U.S. for quite some time, so it could hit. You never know. Like there's a game about getting cancer from a.
Yeah, no, like seriously, the cost is is a really good game. Like, you could take anything and add like a nerd theme on top of it. Like, you could make if the mechanisms are good enough and you lifted your theme out of like building the backbone of the internet in a historical context to like wizards channeling mana. Like, it could be the same thing and teach you the same like decisions that you need to make. Right. But simultaneously, people are like, yeah, give me that.
Yeah. Sometimes you're a little too on the money with the theme.
Like, it's the dragon's veins. Let's do the dragon's veins, the energy from point A to point B. Yeah, absolutely. But that being said, so you had this game. Any other games in your, like, I got excited about this theme and I wrote something?
Just the cat game.
Oh, those two.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm real excited about the miniatures game though. I think that's gonna be something. That was the first one I played. There was like pure joy afterwards. I was like, "Whoa, you guys like this?"
That is great. And knowing your audience now, who you throw a game at has a lot to do with like its response. For example, there's a game that I loved that Fight in a Box made called Undermined. And in the Undermined, and we even did there's a YouTube channel like dedicated to our teasers for it. They're great. They're like crazy for the year that we follow them. But the people that we got to test them were all War Machine players. And I don't know if you know anything about 2008 War Machine, Bert. Are you familiar?
Yeah. I played Warhammer 2 back in the day. So
okay, so
I get it.
War Machine is a game that's like Warhammer meets chess. And it was notorious, especially at that time, that you could go 6 months playing at your local game store or more before you actually ever won a game against other people who started playing before you. Like, it is brutal. Like, the learning curve is a wall. Like, you're like, it's crazy. See, Chris, I knew Chris Horns. It's impossibly like understanding how you win at the game starts at, oh, did I build a competitive list for the people in my store? Did I hit the right rock, scissors, paper? But then even beyond that level was, did I situate my pieces on the board as a miniature game to nullify the other player's ability to take down my king. And that skill took a lot of plays to make happen. Well, long story short, old guy story, I should have warned you, the folks who like that kind of intricacy and that kind of complexity and that kind of face tanking, when they were faced with a card game, they made it way harder. Their appetite for difficult was insane. So then when we took it out to a more general audience, they were like, what is going on with this game? This game is insane. Like, it is way, 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 way too hard. And I had play tested the crap out of it for 9 months. And yeah, but it was with the same like 8 people. And so those same 8 people all had this predilection because they all came from that audience, and they ended up making a game that they loved that was too hard for the theme plus the kind of game it was. Like, nobody wanted a deck builder that melted your brain.
No. Yeah. It doesn't come up often.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Bert. What can we're in the wrap up? What can people expect from you? Where can they hear from you next? What are your final thoughts about this topic?
Well, final thought: inspiration comes from anywhere. So always carry your notebook with you, so you can write down your ideas so they don't get lost forever.
That's great.
I've lost a few that way. Oh, what was that great idea I had yesterday?
Yeah, no, writing it physically down rather than putting in your phone will also work more things in your brain. The more you parts that you work an idea with, the stickier it is for your brain. So a notebook might seem old school, but has old school benefits.
Yeah, definitely. So I do reviews, previews, interviews, all that on my website, Bert.games. I sometimes try to use a voice-to-text audio recorder, but, I find writing works much better for me.
Bowser just keeps on asking the recorder, how old is Seppy? How old is Seppy? How old is Seppy? The old school nurturing adage is watch a thing, do a thing, teach a thing. So one of the things, Seppy is too old. That's Alexis, I understand. So one of the things that can help you be a better game designer is practice teaching games, and not only your games, but the games of other people. The ability, like Bert's able to write and be succinct about what the kind of fun is, the ability to be able to encapsulate other people's fun nuggets. I don't know if I'm ever going to say that again. Will help you be able to articulate your own and be able to deliver the thoughts that you want to convey, thoughts and feelings you want to convey in your own designs. All right, Bert, that's great. Anything else before we wrap up the topic?
No, it's been great. Thanks for having me out. Thanks for choosing me as tribute for today.
Yeah, Bert, you're fantastic. All right, so since we're doing game design all month, we're going from motivation to method. Next week, of course, I'm going to have the board game Dragon back, Jared, and then and since I miss her so much, 2 weeks from then we're going to have Becky back, so she's going to talk about her design and what's been up with her. I have not picked the person for our 4th week for game design month, but after that we will be taking 1 day off, maybe, or we'll be doing a weird format because I will be in Pittsburgh for the Pittsburgh Game Expo at the beginning of October. All right, well, that's very exciting. Bert, I have to remember to send you copies of Fight in a Box's news, Puppies or Poop, which I will have copies of hopefully this week or next week for reviewers. And then, of course, Kaiser Cucumber and the Gangs of Mechanical Corners, which are all hitting retail for October 31st. All right, Bert, thanks so much. And thanks everybody who made time for the Wednesday Board Game Live. We hope to see you this month as we discuss board game design. All right, Bert.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, stay safe and have fun, and we'll see you next week.